call. You can also text us at 979-229-1939, especially if you have a question for our next guest.
Yeah, all I really know is want it. Nothing left. Want it. Till nothing left.
You know what that music means. Every Wednesday, third hour, 10:05, we're joined by A&M, former A&M and NFL defensive back Jordan Pugh, now a contributor here at TexAgs.com. JP, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Is over here freezing my butt off up here, man, with all this snow and ice that's going on in Dallas right now.
I was going to ask you if you're staying warm. Is your heater working?
Oh, yeah, it better be working. How cold it is up here, so.
Man, my dad told me it was brutal up there. And apparently there's snow flurries in Waco, so I don't know if it's headed this way. But it doesn't appear to be, hey, let's go out and play in the snow and do snow angels and build snowmen. It doesn't appear to be that type of weather. It seems kind of nippy and brutal up there.
Man, it's nippy, brutal. The wind's blowing, ice everywhere. But you can't even walk out your front door without being cautious. So I'm ready for it to leave, man. I'm from Texas. I'm used to the heat and the sun. So let's do that.
I was going to say, you played in a lot of cold games in the National Football League. You should be used to this, man. Toughen up a little bit.
Man, look, that's when I'm out there on the field with a helmet and some pads on, man. This is home for me. Nice and warm.
That's exactly right. Were you ever one of those guys that wanted to go out there in short sleeves on a cold day in the NFL? Like some of those, you see old linemen do it. You see some guys that just say, I'm going to go toughen it out. And I'm sure you get real warm when you got your adrenaline going, but were you a guy that liked to bundle up as soon as you got on the sideline, give me one of those big jackets?
Man, it's funny. It's actually the opposite. I'm the one who went out there without the sleeves because the thing about it, man, when the sleeves got wet, it was worse.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd rather be sleeveless and dry versus having the sleeves on and be wet and cold.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Jordan Pugh's with us now. JP, you took to TexAgs over the weekend on a mission to find this month's Pugh Award winner. Did you have any luck with it?
Not yet. I got a few people that I have in mind, but I'm still waiting for that one. That's why I need everybody to send those in and let me know what you're doing in the community, how you're using pushing up and going higher in your life. I'm still looking for that one. It's almost there. It's close, though. I got two in mind right now.
Okay, good deal. And people can email you. They can go to your website, jordanpugh29.com. They can email you. Give your email address out, and I know Facebook and Twitter as well.
Okay, yeah, well, Facebook, you can get me at Facebook /JordanPugh29, Twitter at JordanPugh29. And also my website. Now, you can go to the contact page on my website, fill out that contact page, and tell me why you should get the award, and that's at jordanpugh29.com.
You're going to be sending some of that JP swag their way, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, of course. You got to now.
And, of course, they're going to get some recognition on the show. So we've got a week or two until we award the first Pugh Award winner, so I'm really looking forward to that. Now, do you have a little encouraging word of the week for us, Jordan? I know that by Wednesday, man, we're all down. God, it's a long way till Friday. But it's been a long week already. And I think Jordan Pugh at 10:05 lifts people's spirits on Hump Day.
On Hump Day. Well, here's the biggest thing, man. There's something that's been on my mind the past few weeks, and it's been the word challenge. So the thing that I want to share, man, real short is accept your challenge. Wake up and accept your challenge every day. In order to be great, you have to conquer whatever's placed in front of you. There's a lot of things that you see and hear. There's a lot of challenges in relationships, on your jobs, whatever it may be. You just got to wake up and accept each challenge as they come. Conquer your challenge. That's my word of the day.
Very nice, very nice. We got a text that said, tell Jordan the 116 music always gets listeners pumped. So we got that going with the music too. Jordan Pugh's with us. He's on the Mac Resource Computers Hotline, and he joins us for 2 segments each and every Wednesday. And we talk a lot of Aggie football, and we pick a couple of players, one current player and one signee, and we break them down. We do that at 10:20 each and every Wednesday. First, Jordan, let's talk spring ball. Starts next week. We're 5 days away. As a player, when you were going through spring ball, and you went through 4 of them, what's your feel? Well, I guess, after your freshman, after your sophomore, after your junior. So you went through 3 spring balls. As a player, what was your feeling towards spring ball? Were you fired up, just ready to have football back? Or was it kind of a means to an end? Well, I've got to go to spring ball, and that's sort of like the job, and then we can get better in spring so we can go play in the fall.
Man, it's both of them. That first week you're fired up. You're ready to go. It's been a while since you hit anybody, since you got the pads on, so you're ready to go. But then about week 2 and week 3, it's like, okay, it's a means to an end because ultimately you want to play that game. you're looking for the opponents in the fall. So it's kind of get both sides of the fence when it comes to that. That first week, that first day, you fired up. By that spring game, it's like, all right, let's move on to the season now.
Did it mean more, Jordan, and make it even more exciting for the players? Let's focus on the defensive players. Whenever there was a coaching change, because you knew that meant there's a lot of work to do, but it's going to be a little bit of excitement coming from a new name, a new voice, a new scheme, things like that, sort of like A&M's going to deal with this spring.
So when you get a coaching change, there's always excitement, but then at the same time, there's more. The only word I can think of is concern too.
Yeah.
You know, when you look back when I played, man, I think it almost seemed like I had 10 defensive coordinators when I was there.
You almost
the 4
did.
years I was there, and it's like, man, can I just stay in one scheme for at least 2 years in a row? But you know, when you get coordinator changes, you know the reputation that they bring in is high. So you know you're going to play in a great scheme. You know you're going to be under a great coach. And so that's where the excitement comes in. You also have an opportunity to help improve your play, especially with somebody like Davis coming in and the reputation that he had.
Well, the other side of it, too, is you get a new lease on life, don't you, a little bit? Because Chavis doesn't care if you didn't make any plays the year before. He's looking at you with a totally blank slate. At least you would hope he does, and at least you would think he would.
Right. Well, that's another benefit of spring ball. You know, in spring ball, man, when you go back to the year before, man, it's something where a maturation process takes place. And so when spring comes, it's almost like it's something that you've been there, you've done that, and now you have an opportunity to prove your worth and get your spot on that defensive side of the ball.
Don't you feel like the position group that instantaneously benefits most from all of this is the linebackers? You know, because they're not only getting a new coordinator, but they're actually getting their coordinator, who may just be the best in the country. He's definitely on the short list. And they're getting him as their position coach. You know, he's decided he's going to take on the role of linebackers coach. All the onus will be on him. All the development will be on him. The buck stops at John Chavis at the linebacker position with no other voice. It's John Chavis, and that's his group. You know, don't you think that they're the group that benefits most from it, because they're going right to the coordinator and answering immediately right to the coordinator?
Oh, yeah, of course, man. When you look at it, when you have the coordinator who's a position coach, it almost, like you said, it benefits the group because now they get a better understanding of what he truly wants. But it also benefits the defense because now he doesn't seem as superior as, say, like a head coach would do, like a Sumlin, because he's in your group. He's with you. He's involved with you, teaching you. And so when you have somebody who's that in tune with you, who's personally coaching you, it makes the defense thrive even more. So it may start with the linebackers, but it'll go to the D-line, it'll go to the secondary, and it's really the heartbeat of how the defense starts, and that's what he's doing by being a position coach.
693-1150 is our phone number. You can call us on the Mac Resource Computers hotline. If you've got a question for Jordan Pugh, want to talk football with us, call us up, 693-1150, or you can send us a text message, Commerce National Bank inbox for Jordan, at 979-229-1939, especially if you've got questions about two guys, Nick Harvey and Justin Dunning, who we're going to talk about next. A little more on the coaching situation positionally for Texas A&M on the defensive side of the ball, as Chief comes in, but everybody else stays the same, and that seemed kind of curious for a second. I think Hagan really helped himself out a lot by coordinating that defense and how well they played and flew around in the Liberty Bowl win. So he's here, but he's at a new position, although he's at a position that he coached, I think, 12 or 13 out of his 19 years in coaching. So he's got and that's defensive tackles. He's got a strong familiarity with his background there. And you split up the defensive line so that the two coaches aren't so Terry Price is no longer the D-line coach. Now he's just focused on ends. Hagan's just focused on tackles. Be more specific and specialized there. And then Chief's got the linebackers. Terry Joseph remains the same on the back end. But what did you think of that move in terms of splitting up the defensive line among two coaches?
And I always think it's a good move whenever you have a coach for your specific position. You know, because it's more of a focalized point of emphasis whenever you have that coach that's strictly coaching you. You know, when I was down at A&M, we had Coach Mack and Coach Malone, you know,
right.
the safeties and corners. But the thing that benefits when you have a coach who specifically coaches your position is you really get to understand what they want you to do, how your role is in the defense, without having the whole group involved, if that makes sense at all. You know, it's something when you look at Price. Price played here at A&M, right?
Yep.
So he understands the DN's position. He understands the goal. He understands what Davis is trying to do, and he can relay that message specifically to the DN. Same thing with Hagan with the deep tackles. When you look at the deep tackles, man, they're more 1 and 3 technique. Gap players. DNs are more rush guys. So they're on the same line, but they're 2 totally different positions. And so now you have 2 guys who can solely focus on those positions. I think personally that's going to greatly benefit the defense in the long run.
We're here with Jordan Pugh. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We had a text on the Commerce National Bank inbox. Will Chief be on the field or in the box? Well, Chief's going to be calling plays from in the box. He's going to be A&M's first defensive coordinator, be in the box since the first, 3 games of 2010 when Tim DeRuyter was up there. But after that, he went back down on the field so he could see and look at his guys in the face, see their eyes, but was more comfortable being up in the box. Chavis is an in-the-box defensive coordinator, and he'll be up in the press box. All right, 10:17, Sports Radio 1150 The Zone. Pick 2 with Jordan Pugh. When we come back, we'll break down Nick Harvey, Texas A&M sophomore to be and cornerback, and then incoming safety signee Justin Dunning. And we've got more spring football topics to toss around with Jordan when we come back as well. I'm Gabe Bach. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by Scott & White Healthcare.
Lawn mowing season.
Welcome back, 1021. Sports Radio 1150 The Zone. Gabe Bach with you inside the Lear Insurance Studios on a Wednesday. Our phone number is 693-1150, 693-1150, and you can text in at 979-229-1939. Did I kick something, Ronnie? I don't know. I got some cords down here. Let's go to Jordan and see if he's here. Jordan, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, good deal. All right. Yeah, you might look down here to see if we got something. Hey, I've got big breaking news. I don't know if we've got a news sounder back there, Taylor, but I've got some pretty significant news to share with our public. Is on Friday at 10:35, Tennessee coaching legend Philip Fulmer will join us live. 8:35 on Friday with Olin Buchanan. Olin got it booked. Now, of course, Philip Fulmer won a national championship as the head coach of Tennessee. Philip Fulmer, of course, played with John Chavis and has some perspective on Chief. And so I thought that'd be a very interesting interview. We're going to interview Philip Fulmer live Wednesday at 8:35, Jordan.
Oh, that's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Huge. Especially working with Chavis and playing with him. That's big.
Absolutely. They won a national championship together, so I'm really excited about that. I think we're off radio, to be honest with you. I think something happened. I don't know. All right. I don't know if we're back. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I've got Jordan, so I guess we're all right. Okay. All right, Jordan, let's do this. Pick 2 with Jordan Pugh. Hey, sorry about that. We had a couple technical things we're working through.
No problem.
All right, let's talk about Nick Harvey. All right, had a freshman year. Break down him a little bit, your overall thoughts on him, what you like, what you don't, where he needs to get better. Give me your thoughts on the cornerback, Nick Harvey, going into his sophomore year.
I really like Nick Harvey. When you look at what he did his freshman season, I thought he was a good contributor. I think he's somebody that you really need to focus on this spring because you need to find somebody opposite Devontae Harris that can make an impact with the style of defense that Chavis wants to play. So when you look at him, man, he had a great contribution this freshman season. I think he finished the season with 12 tackles. He's an aggressive player, but very instinctual. A great tackler. And the thing that I like about him most is he's dynamic in the return game. He had 4 punt returns for 62 yards, and I think that's maybe a 15, 16-yard average. I think something like that.
Yeah.
And so when you look at him, his athletic ability is off the chart. When you watch him play, you see the aggressiveness, you see the instincts that he has. You see the tackling ability. That's everything that Chavis wants in a corner. And I think that's somebody who can line up opposite of Devontae. So that's real big with me when I watch him and when I see him maturing into a corner that he can be. Now, I think the things that he needs to fix, though, he needs to have better body control. That's one of the biggest things when you're out there on the island playing that corner position. You have to have good body control.
In the air, off the snap, both. What do you mean by body control specifically with him?
I would say in the air and off the snap.
Okay.
When it first starts off the snap, when you're talking about body control, then you have to be able. Corners have to be they have to be able to react. And so when you're talking about body control, man, you have to be able to control your body and also try to control the receiver at the same time, try and dictate the route that he runs. So that all starts with you and your control as a corner. And then when you talk about playing the ball in the air, that's something that all the DBs for A&M have to do. They have to be able to control their body and go compete for those passes and get picks and also break up passes as well. So when you talk about body control, that's everything as a whole.
Yeah.
When we mention that body control. And then this comes with time, too. You're talking about better understanding the football situation. You got to remember, he was a freshman last year. And so that just comes with the maturation process and the growth, is understanding situations. And I think the more that he plays, the more that he'll get comfortable and he'll let his true athletic ability and instinct really just play out under this style of defense. And really, that's the things that I see that he needs to fix, because I think his upside is amazing.
You know, when you talk about being a chief-style corner, do you think what does he do that allows him to be a John Chava-style corner? And I'm not trying to compare him to Tyrann Mathieu, but here's what I'm saying. Mathieu was undersized, but there's nobody that wouldn't say he's a chief-style corner, even though a lot of LSU's corners are bigger guys, maybe more like Ronnie Elam types, right? You know, he likes to get that big physical guy on an island. Mathieu wasn't a huge guy, but had physicality, and everyone would say, well, it's a quintessential guy with his toughness. What does Nick Harvey specifically have that makes you think that's a John Chavis type of cornerback right there?
Oh, the aggressive. That's what you see the most out of. You know, when you look at Chase, you look at the type of DB that he has. Let's look at Matthews. Let's look at Claiborne. Look at Patrick Peterson. All the three things that they all had in common was the aggressive style of play that they had. Now, when we talk about aggressiveness can be used in different forms. So you look at Matthew. Matthew was aggressive at the point of attack when it came to tackling and just playing in open space. When you look at Claiborne and you look at Patrick Peterson, they were aggressive when the ball was in the air. So when you look at Harvey is the aggressive player, which, I'm glad you brought up Tyrann Mathieu, because that's who he reminds me of.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so if you get him in the spring, get him under Chavis and let him learn really the system. I think this guy, he plays more off instinct than he does understanding. So I think understanding will be a big growth product for him. But if you let him really understand the defense, and then you let his instincts take over, I think you see a Tyrann Mathieu in the Dane of defense.
Well, that's interesting, too. You remember where Mathieu was so good early, is that we talk about that Mustang package sometimes, but it's when he's playing inside and he's playing on a slot and he can do so many different things, almost more like a nickel or in dime and things like this. Now, I feel like A&M has enough nickels in this secondary to make $1. You know what I mean? I feel like I feel like there are 20 nickels and one guy that is a true island guy, and it's Devontae Harris, and he's got ups and downs, and then a bunch of safeties. But not Victor Davis, but Noel Ellis, Tavares Gardner, Caesar. I mean, the senior safety, Devontae Burns. All these dudes are nickels. Well, what about Harvey? Do you like him more there eventually? How do you think he projects, or would you rather see Nick Harvey stay on the island and just get better on the island?
I like Nick Harvey on the island. Like you said, we can go down the list of nickels, and you can go down the list of safeties that can be nickels.
Yeah.
And that's what, Davis really wants to use, those safeties. But when you look at Harvey, I think he's somebody who needs to line up out opposite of Harris. Because you have to find somewhere in this defense, you have to have two corners. This defense cannot run without two corners. Now, we know that the D-line is going to be a big factor for the defense, because, that's vital to Davis-style defense. But we got to have two corners who can shut down two receivers. That's going to help, and it's going to let you take these play all over the place. So I think Harvey is best fit on the outside.
All right, now let's talk about Justin Dunning. It's Pick 2 with Jordan Pugh. Each and every Wednesday at 10:20, Jordan breaks down two members of A&M's team. Of course, we started where Jordan started for several years at Texas A&M, at the defensive back position as both a corner and a safety at Texas A&M. So we start with corners and safeties, both incoming players and returning players. We've hit Nick Harvey this week. Now let's talk about a signee and a guy I know you love. We talked about him right before signing day, but let's break him down more specifically, the safety out of White House, Justin Dunning.
And, looking at Dunning, we've had these talks before. I go back and forth between him and Larry Pryor, who I'm most excited about coming in the secondary as far as young guy, true out of high school. And like the potential I see from him, man, is crazy. I think it's outstanding. He's a physical presence, somebody that I feel might grow into a linebacker at how big he is. You're looking at the 6'4", 205-pound frame.
He'll be 220 easy, won't he?
Exactly. You look at him, he'll be coming in true freshman. He might be 210.
Right.
Coming in as a freshman, you don't know. But Outstanding high school career. You know, you got the 141 tackles. But here's what I like: 9 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, and a touchdown. You know, that's what I like. At the end of the day, as a defensive back, you want to see the ball turned back over, and that's what he did while he was in high school. And then the toughness that he had coming off of ACL surgery maybe.
Yes.
His junior year, and still coming back and producing those type numbers. Man, that's something that's going to be big in the future for A&M and their defense. You know, I think he can fit into a strong safety role. I mean, you got to use him there for that size that he has and the physical play that he plays with.
He can play in the box.
Exactly. Especially when you watch him on film, he delivers hits, and that's what you want in that strong safety role. So I think he'll be a perfect fit in there. I think one of the biggest things, man, he's going to have to work on is probably the learning curve. You know, just like every freshman that you're going to get, is going to be the learning curve that he's going to have to take on. But the thing that you love about him, man, he's constantly around the ball, great size to compete at the SEC level. I think that's key. So you're having a guy who's coming in who's a true freshman who I think physically can compete in the SEC against the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Arkansas, you know, Ole Misses of the world. I think he can compete. Big hitter, and I think he has great in the box press. I think that his upside is just. I'm ready. I wish he was in spring now so I can go watch him play.
Oh, I wish he was in spring now to increase his learning curve because, you know,
Exactly.
sometimes kids in Texas are so well coached that you're waiting
Right.
for them to get a million times better, but they're so well coached that they don't get a million times better, maybe just get, you know, significantly better. But you know, some of these LSU guys, they'd get raw, talented guys like a Donovan Wilson, who A&M's getting now, and they just blow up in college because they're finally getting coached. You know, a lot of guys how many guys out of inner city Dallas over the past few decades would come in and they weren't that well coached and just blow up once they got to a place like here or Texas? And he might be a guy like that. I'm not saying he wasn't well coached, but here's what I'm saying. He's very raw, isn't he, Jordan? Maybe you look in 2 years, maybe he could benefit from a red shirt in 2 years. You're like, look at this guy.
Right. And, you know, I'm glad that you said that because that's exactly what I think when I watch play on this film in high school. He's real raw. Like, sometimes you can see guys, like, let's say, we'll use Christian Kirk and we'll use Kyler Murray as an example. You see those two on film, it's like, okay, these guys got it.
Yeah.
You know, but when you look at Dunning, you see somebody who's just physically better than everybody, and so that's raw talent. And so when you get him down here, and he gets coached. He truly gets coached. Man, he could be an explosive player for the A&M defense.
Yeah, no question about it. And do you agree he's bound for a redshirt year? Do you think?
Yeah, I can see that. You know, I can see both sides. You know, I'm kind of, you know, you got Justin Evans, you got the Monty Watts, you know, those type guys, Jonathan Wilson, and he might. It depends on what he does in fall camp. I can see the redshirt, but I can also see him coming in and playing somewhere. It's not on defense and stuff.
All right, Jordan, we got 1 minute. Question from Jake just came in. Commerce National Bank inbox. It says, ask Jordan, how difficult will it be for Chavis to change the defense dramatically if especially at defensive line and on the defensive backfield, if he kept the same coaches? You think, you know, new guy comes in, he's coordinating Jordan, and it doesn't matter, it's going to be his way? Or is it going to be a little bit more difficult to change them dramatically in the first year because he kept the same coaches?
I don't think it's going to be difficult to change the defense at all. Because I think the thing that benefits Chavis coming in is that the coaches are the same. So the coaches know the players and they know how the players work, how they react, and that benefits Chavis. Because now Chavis he has a better understanding of who he's working with, and in turn you can use that to help elevate the defense. You know, so I look at it from a different point of view. I think with the experience that the coaches have with the players, I think the defense can take off on this Davis with the knowledge that he has from them.
Should be good, Jordan. Always appreciate it, brother. Keep it up. You're making me a more positive person, so I appreciate it, man. It's always good on Wednesday to get a little interview in with Jordan Pugh, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, I appreciate it too, man. Keep pushing up and go higher.
All right, Pugh. Gotta like it.